everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make an entire set of jewelry today. A necklace, a bracelet, and a pair of earrings using some of the products I got from PandaHall Selected. I've been gone for a little bit and I think I'm going to come back all cocky and make a whole entire set of jewelry. But that's what my plan is. In case you're not familiar, PandaHall is beads and accessory parts supplier in China. It says they're very popular in the United States and many other countries. They provide high quality jewelry, beads, findings, and crafts from small lots to large lots at a very low price. As far as I can tell, they don't offer free shipping. I think they base the shipping on the weight of whatever you're getting from them in whatever country they're sending it to. I have a code that they gave me, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below. It'll save you 10% off first orders on PandaHall if you make an order with them. These are the natural African blue opal beads. They're 8mm. These are some little daisy spacers I got from PandaHall Selected. These are some beads that I pulled out of my Jesse James beads. I don't know which mixes or what strands or whatever they came from, but that's where they came from. These are some little bicones from my stash. I think they're 4mm, I think they are. This is pretty much all the same beads as is in here. This is what's going to be my bracelet. And I've got a toggle clasp in there and some jump rings and a couple of wire guards and a couple of 2x2 crimp tubes. These are some findings for the necklace. I've got some jump rings and some 2x2 crimp tubes and some wire guardians and a couple pieces of chain and an extender chain, a ball head pin, and one little bicones to dangle off the extender chain, and a lobster clasp. And then here's what I'm going to use for my earrings. A couple of the African blue opal beads and a couple of the Jesse James beads and some bicones from my stash and some of the spacers I got from PandaHall Selected and a couple of eye pins and a couple of ball head pins and a couple of ear wires. I'm using this different bead stringing wire today. I decided to try this. It's made by Beadsmith. It's called Flex Ride. It's 49 strand. It's a little bit thicker than what I usually use. I usually use the fine in soft flex, and this is a little bit thicker, but I'm meaning to get some thicker bead stringing wire, and this was just a tiny bit less expensive than the soft flex. It says clear, but it's a silver color. But you know, like I always say, it doesn't really matter what the color is. Once you get all the beads on there, you're not really going to see the color of the bead stringing wire. I've got my bead stoppers. I've got my chain nose pliers, my round nose pliers, and my tweezer pliers. Got both pairs of my crimping pliers. I use the Xeron ones to do crimping, and I used the beadle-on ones, that little circular part at the end to tuck in the wires, the burrs that's left when I cut off the wires. I've got both pairs of my cutters. I use one pair for bead stringing wire and the other pair for head pins and eye pins and craft wire. And I've got both pairs, if I can get them off of here, of my bent chain nose pliers. And I've got my little New Orleans shot glass to put my little wires in when I cut them off. He's missed y'all too. I think that's everything. I'll put links in the description box below to the PandaHall Selected products I'm using and all the other tools and things, as many as I can find. I think that's everything. Hold on and I'll get some beads poured out and I'll be back. Okay, I've got my beads poured out here and I'm going to start. This is just stringing. All this is going to be all stringing. So I'm going to do a bicone. A spacer bead. And one of these little frosted brownish kind of beads that I got out of my Jesse James beads. And a spacer bead. And a bicone. And 3 of my African blue opal beads. These are really pretty, got really pretty patterns in them. And now I'm going to do another bicone, a spacer bead, one of these frosted beads, spacer bead, a bicone. Now I'm going to do 5 of my African blue opal beads. And a bicone. No, that's not right. A spacer bead. And one of these rondelles out of my Jesse James mix. Kind of a champagne colored rondelle. And another spacer bead. And one of my African blue opal beads. And a spacer bead. And this rectangular faceted, well, I guess it's oval faceted bead that came out of my Jesse James mix. And a spacer. And one of the African blue opal beads. And a spacer. And then another one of the champagne colored rondelles out of the Jesse James beads. And a spacer. And then 5 more of my African opal beads. And then a bicone, a spacer bead, and one of these frosted beads, a spacer bead, and a bicone. Three of my African blue opal beads. Bicone, spacer bead, frosted bead, spacer bead, and bicone. So, that's what I've got for my necklace. Now I'm going to get my crimp tubes and wire guardians out here and I'll crimp it. And hold on, I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to crimp one side here now. Put my crimp tube on. My wire guardian. Down the other side of my wire guardian, the other channel. Go back through the crimp tube. hold my wires apart so that they don't get crossed. I tuck my little wire guardian in a little bit. Hold my wires apart. I'm going to take my crimping pliers. I'm going to go in the part there that has the tooth. And I'm going to put my tooth on top. I'm going to squeeze. And that puts each wire in its own little channel there. Now I'm going to go into the second. There's 3 circular parts there. I'm going to go into the middle one because that's the one for a 2x2 crimp tube. I'm going to squeeze, fold my crimp, and I'm going to go down to the next one and squeeze again just to get it a little tighter. I'm going to tug. That's good. So now I'm going to take my cutters and cut off my extra wire. Then I'm going to go down here to the other end. Put my crimp tube on. My wire guardian. Come down the other channel of my wire guardian. Back through my crimp tube. And I usually try to go through a bead or 2 on this side to get my hands out of the way so I can crimp. It's a little bit harder to do on this side because your hands are in the way. Pull my wire through there, hold on to the wire guardian, pull my wire through, and make sure there's no slack in my piece, but I don't want it to be really tight either. Gonna tuck my little wire guardian in a little bit over here like I did the first side. I'm going to go into the part with the little tooth again. Put the tooth on top. Squeeze. And then go into that middle part of the circular part again and squeeze. I'm going to go down to the next one and squeeze again. Tug. That's good. So I'm going to cut off my extra wire. So that's what I've got for my necklace so far. Now I'm going to get my findings and stuff to put it together with. I'll be back. Okay, I've got some jump rings here and some chain. These are about 5-inch pieces of chain. Each one of them are. And these are like 6mm jump rings. Open up my jump ring. my little necklace on and put my chain on. That wasn't the jump ring's fault that time, that was my fault. Didn't have hold of it good. And I'm going to close my jump ring. Make sure it's closed really well. Sometimes you have to go back and forth to get it closed good and even like that. Now I'm going to open this one and put my other piece of chain on. Okay, now I'm going to come down here and take another 6mm jump ring. Thread on one side of my necklace and put on my lobster clasp. And on this side, I'm going to put on an 8mm jump ring for my lobster to clasp onto. And a piece of extender chain. This is about 2 inches of extender chain. So that's what I've got so far. Now I'm going to make a little dangle to go on my extender chain. Got a ball head pin. Take one of my little bicones. Take my pliers and go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend at a 90-degree angle. I'm going to run those pliers in the crook of the bend. Run those pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight. Take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Take my bent chain nose pliers. My other pair of bent chain nose pliers. And start to wrap. Just wrap till there's no more room to wrap. I'm going to take my cutters, cut off my extra wire. I'm going to take my other crimping pliers and go in that little part at the end there and squish in my little burr that's left where I cut off my wire. And y'all probably think that I forgot, like I always do, to wire wrap that directly to my extender chain. But I meant to wait this time because this extender chain is really easy to open the link at the end. It's easier to just open the link and put it on there. So there's my necklace all done. Now I'm going to get my stuff together and string up my bracelet. I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to string my bracelet now. I'm going to start with 3 of my gemstone beads. And a bicone. Spacer bead. Frosted bead. Spacer bead. Bicone. 3 more of my gemstone beads. Bicone. No. Spacer bead. And this, another one of these oval faceted beads that I got from the Jesse James mix. And the spacer bead. And then 3 of my gemstone beads. Spacer bead, no, bicone. Spacer bead. Frosted bead. Spacer bead. Bicone. And 3 of my gemstone beads. So that's going to be my bracelet. So I'm just going to, I'll crimp this off camera. I'm going to do it just like I did the necklace, and then I'll be back. Okay, I got my little bracelet crimped here. Now I'm just going to put my toggle clasp on. Got 2 more 6mm jump rings here. Put my toggle loop on. My toggle bar. There's my little bracelet to go with my necklace. Now I'm going to get my stuff together and make a little pair of earrings. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to make a little pair of earrings now. I'm going to take one of my gemstones and put it on my ball head pin here. I'm going to take my pliers and go to the very tip of the pliers. Bend at a 90-degree angle. Take my round nose pliers and put the round nose pliers in the crook of the pin. Round nose pliers facing me. Bend the wire back until it hits the bead. Rotate the pliers till they're facing the table. Hold on tight. Take this part up and under here until it hits the bottom of the tool. Cock the wire back until the loop is centered over the bead. Like that. I'm going to take my bent chain nose pliers. My other pair of bent chain nose pliers. Start to wrap. It's important to get that first wrap good and tight. And then just wrap till there's no more room left to wrap. cutters. Cut off the extra wire. Take my crimping pliers and squish my little burr in that's left. I'm going to take my eye pin and open up the eye of the eye pin. Thread on my little dangle. Close my eye pin back up. Now I'm going to put my bicone spacer bead, frosted bead, spacer bead, bicone. I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to go a little bit above the bicone there because I don't want to crack my bicone. I'm going to bend at a 90-degree angle. Take my cutters and I'm going to cut off and leave about a 1/4 of an inch of the pin there. Take my round nose pliers and go to the end of the pin and make sure there's nothing sticking out over here, that it's flush. I'm going to start to roll back a loop. Make sure to get the loop good and closed. I'm going to take my pliers and open my loop that I just made. Thread on my ear wire. Close my loop back. There's my little earring. So now I'll make the other one off camera and then I'll be back. I think I got twisted around there. There we go. Now I'll make the other one off camera and then I'll be back. Okay, there we go. A necklace, bracelet, and pair of earrings using the PandaHall selected products that I got. Like I said, if you decide you want to make an order with them, that coupon code will save you 10% off your first order. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook and Instagram and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, hope y'all have a great day. Take care.
Thank you.